I'm Emily. I'm 18 years old, and I learned a hard lesson very early in life. People don't always stay. Promises don't always mean forever, and sometimes the one who saves you isn't human. 5 years ago, my life looked perfect from the outside. Inside, it was already falling apart. I just didn't know it yet. At 17, I truly believed I understood people. I believed in friendship, loyalty, and love. I believed that if you were kind, if you worked hard, if you showed up for others, they would do the same for you. That's what adults told me. That's what movies showed. That's what social media made look real. I believed it all. Back then, I was the girl everyone thought had it together. I had big plans. I was studying marketing, working online, and building something exciting with a business partner I trusted completely. He wasn't just a partner. He felt like family. We stayed up late talking about the future. We imagined success like it was guaranteed. We promised we'd grow together, win together, and never turn on each other. At the same time, I was dating someone who said I was his future. Friends filled my phone with notifications. Weekends were loud. My life felt busy, exciting, and full. But loud doesn't mean strong, and busy doesn't mean real. The first crack came quietly. One morning, I opened my email and felt my stomach drop. Clients were gone. Projects disappeared. Accounts were empty. My name was removed from things I helped build from the ground up. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Then I called him. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. I expected panic, guilt, some sign that he cared. Instead, he sounded calm. When I asked him what happened, he sighed and said, "It's just business, Emily. Don't take it personally. Just business." Years of trust reduced to 2 words. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling numb. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I felt frozen, like my body shut down to protect me from the pain. That was the moment I learned my first hard truth. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who can hurt you the most. I told myself at least the people who loved me would stay. I was wrong again. When my life started going downhill, people treated me differently. Friends who once laughed with me suddenly replied slower, then shorter, then not at all. Invitations stopped. I heard words like unstable and too emotional whispered behind my back. My boyfriend tried to be supportive at first. He said he loved me. He said things would get better. But love changes when life gets heavy. One night, he sat across from me and said, "I just need peace right now." A week later, he packed his things. I remember standing in the doorway, watching him leave, hoping he would turn around, hoping he would choose me. He didn't. And just like that, the noise stopped. The house felt bigger, the walls felt closer, the silence felt heavy. That's when Max became my world. Max was a golden retriever puppy I adopted when life was easy. He had big paws, clumsy energy, and the happiest face I had ever seen. Back then, I thought I rescued him. I had no idea he would one day rescue me. After everyone left, Max stayed. When I walked from room to room, he followed me. When I sat on the couch staring at nothing, he rested his head on my leg. When my phone stayed silent, his tail wagged like nothing had changed. One night, everything hit me at once. I was sitting on the kitchen floor, back against the cabinet, knees pulled to my chest. I wasn't crying loudly. I was crying quietly, the kind where tears fall because your body doesn't know what else to do. I wasn't crying about money, or my business, or my ex. I was crying because I felt stupid. Stupid for trusting people so deeply, stupid for believing words, stupid for thinking loyalty was mutual. Max walked over slowly. He didn't jump, he didn't bark, he just sat down and rested his head on my knee. No questions, no judgment, no advice, just presence. And somehow that broke me and healed me at the same time. Weeks passed. Then, months. My savings ran out. My pride disappeared. I stopped going out. I stopped answering messages. I avoided mirrors because I didn't recognize the girl staring back at me. The phone stayed on the counter, silent, like proof of everyone who had left. But every single morning, at exactly 7 a.m., Max jumped onto my bed. Tail wagging, eyes bright, like the world was still good, like I was still good. Even on days I didn't want to get up, he needed his walks. Rain or shine, he waited by the door with his leash, and somehow that responsibility kept me moving when I wanted to give up. One afternoon, I collapsed again. I slid down the wall and sat on the floor, head in my hands. Everything felt heavy. The betrayal, the loneliness, the disappointment in myself. Max came over, licked my fingers, sat in front of me and looked straight into my eyes. And in that moment, I realized something I had never understood before. He had never asked me for anything. Not success, not money, not strength, just me. That night, I took him for a long walk. The streets were quiet, streetlights flickered softly, the air was cool, and for the first time in months, my chest didn't feel tight. I held his leash and listened to his steady footsteps, and a thought hit me so hard I stopped walking. Maybe the problem wasn't that people left. Maybe the problem was expecting people to love the way dogs do. Unconditionally. Without strategy. Without leaving when it's inconvenient. Humans calculate. Dogs commit. Humans test your value. Dogs decide once and stay. From that moment on, I started rebuilding. Slowly, quietly, not to prove anyone wrong, not for revenge, but because Max deserved better. I took a small job. Nothing impressive, nothing glamorous. Some days were exhausting. Some days felt pointless, but every evening, Max waited by the door like I was the best thing that had ever happened to him. That's when I understood another truth. The world celebrates you for achievements. A dog celebrates you just for coming home. Months passed. I started freelancing again, small projects, small wins. But I was different now. I trusted less, listened more, loved carefully. One day, I ran into my old business partner. Same smile, same confidence, like nothing had happened. He said, "No hard feelings, right?" I smiled and said, "You taught me something valuable." He thought it was forgiveness. It wasn't. He taught me that not everyone who builds with you plans to stay with you. That night, I came home tired. Max greeted me like always, jumping, barking, pure joy. I sat beside him and whispered, "The more I learn about people, the more I love you." He didn't understand the words, but he understood the feeling. He leaned into me, resting his head on my shoulder, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. People aren't evil, they're human. They change, they protect themselves. They leave when it's easier to walk away. Dogs don't, not because they're weak, but because loyalty is their nature. Life feels different now. Not loud, not flashy, but real. Smaller circle, stronger boundaries, clearer heart. Every morning, Max still jumps on my bed at 7 a.m. Still excited, still loyal, still mine. I finally understand that it's not about hating people. It's about valuing loyalty, protecting unconditional love when you find it, in a dog, in a parent, or in a rare human soul. Because in a world full of temporary connections, loyalty is priceless. So if you've been betrayed, if people left when you needed them most, if promises were broken, don't let it make you bitter. Let it make you wiser. And maybe get a dog. Because sometimes the purest heart in your life has 4 legs and a wagging tail.